Today we're taking a look at the Xeno V3 Ahsoka Tano lightsabers. Let's get at it. Hello there everybody, welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. Now we started off together with the Ahsoka series with a really high-end review of a lightsaber set for Ahsoka. They were stunning. LED lights and everything on the inside, really nice accurate blade plugs, and they're just stunning. Today we're taking a look at, let's call it a more budget-friendly version of Ahsoka's lightsabers. These come in somewhere around half the price of those original high-end lightsabers that we reviewed. In that video, I also did a quick side-by-side with the Profi version I had here. And today we're going to take a look at the Xeno V3 version, also from Vader Sabers. Thank you so much to Vader Sabers for sending this set over with another option of Ahsoka lightsabers. Now, given that these are a more budget lightsaber, but also Xeno V3 lightsabers, we kind of have like a push and pull on these things because they're not as awesome as those original elf sabers that we reviewed, but they also have some great positive things about it. Number one, coming in at about half the price. Number two, they are Xenos, so they're a lot easier to operate, load things onto, work with your phone, and they also have this beautiful chassis design that we'll take a look at in a moment. But given all that, and the fact that they do fall into more of a budget-friendly area, they do lack a little bit in the screen accuracy. And if you really want yourself a set of Ahsoka lightsabers that's not going to completely break the bank, this might be the set for you. So before we dig into these lightsabers, if you're new here, please drop down, hit that like button, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I have a ton of lightsabers coming. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Let's get to this unboxing. All right, let's see what we got here. So this is, like I said, the Xeno V3. So here we have both hilts, and you can see they're beautiful hilts. So we do have the beautiful gold tip on that. You do see we have that extra little nubbin of meat on the top to hold onto the blades. So honestly, I do think these are a fantastic option if you don't have extra cash in the bank for those higher end lightsabers. I also don't have the budget for that $1,200 set myself. As stunning and as beautiful as they are, they did go back, so I don't have them here to show you a side-by-side comparison with the Xenos, the Profis, and those higher end sabers. But I have a ton of footage, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to kind of line them all up digitally. So we'll dig a little bit more into that in a second. Let's see everything else in here. We do have two full sets of manuals here. This gives you a full rundown and a full walkthrough of the app here and everything. Then we have the famous green Allen wrenches, which you see me use all the time. Now, again, everything comes in a set of two because this is two full sets of lightsabers. Then we have two sets of Allen wrenches and some extra retention screws, two USBs, two acrylic stands, and then we have two blade plugs. These are NeoPixel blade plugs, so these do have LED lights in there. And then, of course, we get both size pixel blades. We get the Shoto and we get the full size. And I know everyone is going to ask me which sizes these are. So the long one is a 32, and the shorter one looks like a 26. All right, so let's just do a quick side-by-side between these and the Profis that we have here. So just like I did with the first review and the side-by-side, I lined everything up here at these lines, these little rings here. That way all of that is kind of lined up with the tops. All right, and then we can see the difference when we get to the bottom here. Now, the reason why I want to do this and also try to put that transparency of the other Ahsoka set here is the size difference, because it's a pretty big size difference between the higher end Ahsoka and the Xeno V3. All right, so here's both of the longer hilts. This here is the Xeno V3, this is the Profi, and then I'll put an overlay of the higher end one next to it. So just from this, we're looking at, looks like about an inch, yeah, about an inch and a half shorter on the Xeno. And then what I'll do like this. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'll just do this anyway. And hopefully we'll be able to get the size difference between the Profi and the higher elf saber version. So over here is the Xeno, and this is the Profi. You will see that the Xeno is a little bit more accurate to the size of those higher end ones. which I really do like, because I always felt that the Profi was a little bit thick. And these are a lot closer to what the higher end ones are. Now, just at the top here, this is the Xeno. We've got a much nicer gold plate there on the top in this little kind of bowl area. And this is more of a bronzy, coppery kind of, you know, duller paint. So this, I believe, looks a lot more like the higher end version. So just like this, you'll see a lot of similarities in both the Profi and the Xeno. But there are some differences. Obviously, there is the size difference. This is significantly smaller than the Profi. But you'll also see a color difference between these. The Xeno is more of a gray, kind of graphite color. This is much more black. Same thing here. And the little diamonds inside are much smaller, you know, due to the scale. So everything's just scaled down a little bit. Now these little guys, you'll see that these are much, much closer in size. They're only about ½ an inch difference in length. But, you know, again, same thing. They're just about the same thing on the side as far as thickness, but I do think that the Xeno is just a hair thinner. And the other thing about the little guy here, they are not the correct color. Ahsoka's Shoto hilt is actually a darker gray, and neither version of these are a darker gray. Is it a big deal? No. Now, it doesn't really make me like them any less. I am really digging the Xeno V3, even over the Profi version I have. They feel thinner, they feel a little bit more streamlined, and they also have a beautiful chassis design inside. Let's take a look. Now, opening these up, or, you know, it's pretty easy. You're gonna remove this and this from both of these, and you're gonna pull this whole section out. Now, I don't know why there's a CoverTech clip here, because we do have two D-rings, and she doesn't have a CoverTech clip here. Now, opening them up is, it's actually pretty easy. So let's undo this, and I think you're really gonna love this chassis design. So we have all the little nubbins off, and you're just gonna pull this pin like a grenade. All right, now when you pull them, chances are this is going to pop up like that. All right, they are kind of based on tension, it seems, so they're gonna pop up like that. So how is that for a chassis design? You've got these gold-plated chassis. You could probably even get a battery wrap so that that doesn't stand out as much. And if you know any customizers, I actually know a few, you could probably have a crystal put right in here. But man, look at that, you know, and this is the more budget-friendly one. You know, you got a beautiful, beautiful chassis design. They're so cool. And I was shocked when I opened these up to charge them. Oh, by the way, the charging port is right here. It's actually these type of, I forgot what these are called. They're like these 12 volty type things, but they are USB at the other end, so you can just plug it in your USB, and you have those as the connectors. All right, I'm gonna reassemble the side panels and everything here, and we'll take a look at some of the sound fonts and everything, and we'll pull up the Xeno V3 app, zip through that just really quick, and while I'm doing this, let's jump over to Vader Sabers website so I can get you some details. So here we are, we're looking at the Fulcrum set, Ahsoka Rebels, and you know, this is pretty much the same exact hilt that she has through the Rebels and through Mandalorian and now through the Ahsoka show. It actually looks like you could buy them empty for $449, the baselit version for $544. This is actually the Xeno, so this is $649, and a Profi set for $724. So this is not the same Profi that we're looking at here. This Profi comes from a manufacturer called TXQ, and this one is from a manufacturer called LGT. But that actually has something to do with, you know, when the sizes are different, because it's different design teams and all that stuff as well. So the reason why I'm showing you this other Profi version, I did use it in the other video as a reference in size. All right, let's give a quick listen at what these sound like. My blade's not set correctly. Let's go into the app and set the blade and everything correctly. All right, so if something like that happens to you, you basically just have to go in there and go to the blade setting here and change the length. And it looks like we're good. They sound pretty damn good, I gotta tell you.
Authority.
I love stereo lightsabers.
The Champion. The Dark Lord Revisited.
It is nearly impossible to maneuver a staff in this room, no less 2 full lightsabers. So we're just gonna put this down over here and flip through a bunch of the settings on the app here. So we do have the power obviously on the top there. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lower the blade brightness. So you can go into palette here, whoops, palette, and then lower that down. All right, I'm actually gonna turn the brightness of my phone down a little bit. Now, we've seen this already a bunch of times with Xeno. The app is incredible to kind of bang through and audition a whole bunch of stuff. So we got your lock up here. We got your tip drag, blaster effects, your force effect. Now, it's a little hard to see any of these effects on white, unfortunately. So let's go to her other fun color, which is blue, and it's my favorite color. So we'll open up the color palette here. We're gonna turn red down to 0, green down to 0, and blue up to 255, which is 100%. And then I'm gonna turn down the blue color so that we can actually see the effects going on here. There we go. Okay. So tip drag. Tip drag always seems to be a little hard to see. So let me down the blade almost off so you can actually see what's going on there. You can see the tip is lighting up white. Blast to deflect light effects, flash on clash, force effect. Now keep in mind, all of this stuff can be done on the blade. So you don't actually have to be hooked into the app for all of this stuff to happen. You can adjust the volume just by holding the power button for a second.
Volume low.
Blade styles with 2 count, 1, 2.
Fire blade.
1, 2.
Steady.
Ignition styles with 3 counts, 1, 2, 3.
Broken ignition.
You can even change the color of the blade on the hilt itself. You're gonna hold the button and give a twist.
Color change.
Now down below here, you have your font select over there, and you could run through all of your fonts down below. Looks like we actually have 34 fonts on here. And then as we saw on the other page here, we do have our main blade length. So this one is actually very important for this particular lightsaber because we do have a Shoto blade. So one you may have to adjust like we saw just a little while ago. And if you have the Shoto blade, you're going to want to down that to whatever size the Shoto blade was. What was it? 26 or 28 or something like that? And then down below, you do have different settings, flash on class sensitivity. If for whatever reason you're hearing blasters randomly go off, chances are the volume might be too loud and it might be setting off the sensors of the flash and clash. So you might hear certain things like blasters or whatever. So you can adjust this down. So if you turn this all the way down, you know, nothing's gonna happen. If you have it all the way up, whoops, this one. If you have that all the way up, you know, and then sometimes like the Sabine lightsaber, that rumbles so much for some reason on my version. I don't know if every version is like that, but if this is up too high, the sound will actually set the sensors off and you'll just get these random blasters and it's really crazy. So it's a fantastic app to have. I actually recently updated firmware from the app to the actual hilt itself. So no more taking the SD cards out and popping them on computers and, you know, loading things on. To update your firmware in the actual hilt itself, you go to that last tab and then you click on your saber there. And then down here you'll have firmware, I think. You have firmware over here. So right there you see it's going to say, do you want to update? We're not going to do that right now, but you can see that you can update your software and your firmware and everything right directly from the app. But yeah, I think the Xeno is in such a fantastic place right now, and it's just getting better as the months go on. Now, I know a lot of you are going to ask, can you hook up both of the lightsabers to the app? And I'll be honest with you, I don't think you can. It is Bluetooth, so, you know, I think it does have its limits. I am not seeing an option to hook both in at the same time. Maybe I'm missing it, but I just don't see it, so I don't think it's possible. All right, my friends, that is it. These are the Fulcrum Ahsoka lightsabers. These are the Xeno V3s. Thank you so much again to Vader Sabers for sending this over. Drop down below in the comments and let me know what you think of these lightsabers. And while you're down there, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification button for upcoming videos. I have a ton of lightsabers still sitting here that I've got to get to. So I will see you all on the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.